Hi, Soul Family. This is Mimi with Divination by Mimi. Welcome to the January 16th or 17th, depending upon where you are in the world, new moon in Capricorn. This is a very powerful new moon, as it is in the 10th house or the sign of Capricorn, which is a very loaded house at the time of this full moon. At this point in time, we have the moon and the sun, of course, because it is Capricorn season. So the moon and the sun are in there, and of course they are conjunct, causing a shadow, which is what causes the dark of the moon or the new moon. We also have in there Mercury. Mercury will have been out of its shadow retrograde period now on the 16th, 17th. That would have left the 11th, and it's in Capricorn. We also have Saturn, Pluto, um, Black Moon Lilith, Venus. So we have the moon, Venus, Black Moon Lilith, Mercury, Saturn, and Pluto. That is 7 energies, 7 planets in there. And if that's not impactful enough at the time, of a new moon, the moon itself will be creating a square with Uranus. Now, if you might have recalled, Uranus just recently went direct on the 2nd of this month, of January, in the sign of Aries. So Uranus is the ruler of Aquarius, and it is a very unpredictable, rebellious, progressive energy. This is the type of energy that you see when you see activists rising up for a cause, or when you see technological advancements. And on that note, there is also things like storms, and electrical related things. So as it is now direct and it's in Aries, when it makes a square to the moon, and a square is kind of a friction filled, or we'll call it a possibly a difficult aspect. It might find you having a rebellious spirit toward authority figures. Capricorn in the 10th house tends to be about law, order, structure, um, hierarchies that already exist. When Uranus makes this square, it could be considered a difficult aspect. It could also be an irritant aspect. And an irritant is not always a bad thing. An irritant can be an impetus to change, kind of like that grain of sand that is in an oyster that creates a pearl. It's the same concept. Change can be initiated by a slight irritation, and you could call a square an irritation. So you might find that you have an impulse to, depending upon where Uranus is in your chart, you might have an impulse to square off, or I don't know, meet head to head with figures of authority. That it's manifest itself in your world with your boss, or management where you work, or I don't know, your landlord, or the cops, or anything along those lines, the court system. So expect that possible energy to affect you, that instinct to battle, square off with an authority figure. And I'm not saying don't express your feelings by any means, but just choose your battles wisely, and remember what you've prioritized for yourself in life. For this particular incarnation. And also try to remember the big picture. Try to look at things with a bird's eye view, looking down at things as if you're watching, I guess, an ant farm. Try to see through the eyes of a divine creature, which you are, before you do that. And then if it's still justify, absolutely do it. I'm not your mother. I'm not telling you what to do. But I think what I'm trying to say is don't say something that you'll be sorry for, or don't do something that you'll be sorry for later, and that might hinder your personal growth. So just consider all things priorities, choose your battles wisely, and then face off if you need to. And then, of course, with a new moon, it is where the sun and the moon are conjunct. That both, as I mentioned, with a lot of other planets, are in Capricorn, the 10th house. So basically, this means that the shadow of the moon, no, the shadow of the Earth is cast upon the moon, therefore obliterating or obscuring the light of the sun, making it a dark moon. And in a cycling and in the cyclical nature of our world, of our lives, this is a time when you plant seeds of intention. This is the time when you make a decision. Okay, I think I'd like to buy a house by the year, I don't know, 2019. making that a goal of sorts. This is when you plant those seeds of intention, give them thought, give them energy, and then over the coming weeks, months, and years, you feed that energy through action, through word, through thought. So what I'm going to do is a 3-card pull based upon the supernal triangle. This is the top 3 placements or sephira of your respective tree of life. So if you follow the Kabbalistic tree of life, this would be Keter, Hokmah, and Binah. If you follow the Kemetic tree of life, for example, this would be Amenasur, Tehuti, and Sekert. Jungian theory, this would just be superconscious, conscious, and subconscious mind, since it's a general reading. And that's what I'm going to go with. I'll be using the Morgan Greer deck, which is based on Rider-Waite-Smith system. And let's get going. It's our sentient soul family. Need to know for this new moon, January 16th and 17th, in Capricorn, squaring off with Uranus on the 16th or 17th, depending on where you are. With a lot of activity, a lot of planetary energetic activity in the 10th house of Capricorn. It is new moon planting seeds of intention for us, the soul family. What does this mean? For January 16th, 17th, new moon, 2018. And I think that ought to do it. Holy Hecate. Thank you. Okay. Ace of Swords in reverse is superconscious speaking to us. Conscious mind is the Ace of Cups in reverse. Where is the love? And the subconscious mind is messages, which is not surprising at this time. At the beginning of the month, the full supermoon in Cancer, there were some incredible water trines, one of which included Neptune with the full moon. A trine is a very harmonious aspect, making the energies related work together for the nature of those energies. Neptune being kind of a dreamy and spiritual energy, there were a lot of spiritual downloads that you might still be feeling into the 2nd, 3rd, and 4th weeks of the month, because there's just so much lunar planetary activity. So, okay, so what we have, getting back to superconscious connection with us, we're saying we've got a lack of connection or a lack of ingenuity. We're not coming up with new ideas. So maybe we have an idea of what we'd like, but we're not sure how to get that going. And this seems to be where we are at the moment. Perhaps we're ruminating on a concept that we want without getting down to brass tacks. So I believe that we're being advised here to bring in the left brain, the logical, rational, methodical thinking brain, the scientific brain, into this process of manifestation. We always want to align ourselves with the things that we want so that we can feel the good feelings that brings us, because ultimately we want to feel good. That's why we want anything, really, is to feel happy, joy, good. We're being advised, and while that is very much a feeling activity or a right brain activity, an intuitive activity, Spirit is advising us to also employ the left brain. There are 2 hemispheres for a reason. You need to balance them, just like the 2 genders that we all possess. We need to balance both hemispheres or types of thinking. We are being called here to start to use the concept of Ptah, Egyptian god of masculinity, but or Kemetic god of masculinity, but very much about the engineer, the builder. If you look at his attributes or his symbols, they include the measuring rope, the scale, the compass. So like the cornerstones, the things that a builder, an engineer, an architect would need. So this is what we're being asked here, is to bring in that Ptah energy, bring in that on a Hermetic perspective, bring in the Mercurian energy, and even the Uranus energy, because it is a progressive, forward-thinking energy. Now, in our conscious mind, we're feeling a disconnect of this new opportunity. I think it's possibly because we are literally putting in 100% of the feeling, and that is so important. In fact, it is the seed, the kernel and the seed that starts the process, but it does need to be followed up with tangible action. Okay, so we're feeling like, where's the love, man? You know, I want this thing. I want it very much. I've got passion toward it. I've got lots of emotions toward it, and nothing's happening with it. Okay, and again, Spirit is advising us integrate both halves of the brain, logic and intuition. And then in the subconscious mind, we are getting messages. So again, as Spirit is advising you to employ the left hemisphere of the brain, the left side, or rational, logical thinking, tangible thinking, do not ignore the intuitive signs. What we are being called here to do is have a good balance of the two. It would appear that there's a lot of dreaming, perhaps, and not enough action, tangible action. Okay, and continue the dreaming, continue the listening for the messages, the listening for the opportunities. Just employ those third dimension tactics, actions that are part of the process in manifesting something in Malkuth, in Geb, in the three-dimensional physical world. Okay, I hope that helps. I think that's pretty clear. If you have questions on this new moon reading, please leave them in the description, rather than the questions or comment section below the video. If you'd like a personal reading, please feel free to email me at mememes@hotmail.com. You will find that email address in the description box below the video. Elsewise, I will see you for the, believe it or not, third lunation for the month, which will be the 31st. We'll get into that at that time. Or I'll see you for your own individual sun, moon, Venus, or ascendant sign readings, or whatever you choose to watch a reading for. I do all the 12 for the 15th to the 31st. So that was jabbering enough. I hope that helped. Do take care, and I'll see you at the end of the month.